Welcome to Monday. So for like 5 days I'm going to be looking after some people's cats while they're away. So I got up nice and early, went and fed those 2 cats, 2 different places. It was funny because these 2 people also both went away on holiday at the same time over the holiday period as well. And then they've gone on holiday at the same time again now, but they're completely unrelated. So I got up, did that, and then I picked up some more dog food for Albert on the way home. And then since then I've showered and just kind of been on my computer, to be honest. 1 second, I've been told to look out the bedroom window. Let's go do it. Wonder what it is that we have to look at. Should we find out? Find out together. He's just chilling out on the floor. Look at him. Look at the little dude. Aww. So yes, this morning I fed the cats, I've bought some dog food, got him some chews, been on my PC, just catching up on some YouTube videos of people that I like to watch. A lot of people uploaded yesterday. And then, because Dakota Warren and Jack Edwards went to Scotland. I love Scotland. Eventually I want to live in Scotland. But they've been to Scotland and they stayed in this like really cool log cabin thing, like that was just literally out into the nothingness. It was just hills and sheep. And I'm always kind of frequently on like property sites, looking at things that obviously I can't buy now, but I like looking at nice houses. But then I was like, do you know what? I want to start also looking at like holiday cottages and stuff, like, and lodges and things that are available. Maybe I could take myself on a little holiday. I mean, my partner obviously is welcome to come, but if he doesn't feel like it or he can't get the time off, I could always just take myself if I had the money. That's always the crux of everything, isn't it, if you have the money? But it'd be nice to know like places that I'd like to try and go to. I'd take myself on a little like readers retreat just by myself and switch off from the world and just literally go there with the purpose of doing those things, and you don't have to do anything else, just those things. But that's what I've been doing so far, which is not a lot. I also don't think I wrote anything last week. Like, as I said in my last vlog, like the week got away from me a little bit. It was just kind of like gone. Hopefully I can change that. I was thinking I might go to a local village. There's a really nice Cafe Nero. I was looking for a local cafe that I could kind of end up being my kind of like go-to cafe to like write or read or just get out, because I was going to a Costa, but it was like in a shopping centre kind of scenario near a Morrison's, and it was just kind of, it was alright, but a bit... Cafe Neros were always there's a couple of Neros in York that I really liked to go to because they make it really homey. The one in York that I liked to go to particularly, like, had upstairs, it like lined the walls with books, had sofas and stuff, and it just had really big windows because it was on the first floor, so it was kind of had loads of windows all the way around. It was really light and it was just nice. I went in briefly to the Nero when we took the dog for a walk the other day, and it seemed really cozy. It was busy that day because that was Saturday, but might be okay to go today. Try and get something done. But yeah, I also wanted to show you, basically I watched a YouTube video. What's the name? Is it by Lena Norms? Lena Norms, she basically went through all of her books and found a load that she's had for ages but just doesn't read for whatever reason. Like, she had reasons for all of them. I, however, just don't read them because I haven't got around to it. But she had reasons for these like selected books that she just hasn't read them. And as she was talking about it, and I was thinking about how many books I haven't read, and there was one that she spoke about and I was like, I really want to read that, and I bought it and it arrived today. That's like from Shrek the musical. Today. But yeah, I got Proust and the Squid. Maybe it's gonna... As I said before, I like books about books, but I also like... I've read a couple of like psychological, like non-fiction books about the brain. This is about how reading affects the brain. So basically it says, the New Scientist said that Proust and the Squid is about the magic and mechanics of reading. Woolf chronicles the development of writing and, by extension, reading, detailing the neuroscience behind them. She makes a good case for the transformative powers of reading on human cognition and champions the intriguing idea that dyslexia may be linked to unparalleled creativity. And I have dyslexia, so it'll be about me. Yeah, it's like they say that the dyslexic mind thinks in a very different way to the neurotypical mind. So we quite often will see ways to do things that are different from the norm. Personally, I always had a different opinion at uni than the rest of the class.
See him.
Yeah, I saw him. Hello, buddy. Oh, you're too short for this video.
Like I could go back to work and just looked out and he was just dead on. Just did.
Dead on the floor, was she? Dead on the floor. Oh no, bye-bye. Not really dead, obviously. So I might go out. Might go out to Nero. We'll see.
Sliding doors, just wanna know you more. I hope you wanna be with somebody, spending all of the night moonwalking, and with the view she could see her building. Try to tell her I know I feel it. Keep me floating, I'm on my back. Slow me down when I'm living fast.
Lazy Sunday mornings, hiding under covers. I don't mind staying in with you. Play your favorite movie, laying right beside me. I don't mind when it's just us two. That corner coffee shop we like to go. Late night walks with you to take me home. With you, I never feel alone.
These little songs make me glad to call you mine. And you have got my head in the clouds. Oh.
1, 2, 3. All that I need is your body next to me on rainy days. Just need your company, don't need too much. Just your simple love and it's everything. The simple joy of hearing your voice every morning. I wake to a kiss on my face, so I don't need too much. Just your simple love and it's everything.
Hi! It is 5:30 on Saturday. I haven't spoken too much since the beginning of the week, but that's okay, I didn't have a lot to say. It would have been boring. I had a pretty good day on Thursday. It was very productive. I did like chores and then I don't actually remember. I've got stuff on film, so I'll remember when I edit. But I just remember that I had a good morning, a good middle, and then toward the end of the day I went out to Costa because I've decided I want to start trying to do little writing competitions to I need to say less. Bring back some creative spark, because I know that the creativity is there somewhere because I did an entire arts degree and got a first. So there's something in there. We'll find it. So I'm thinking of trying to do little competitions. They're always going on. Just entering free ones, not necessarily to win, but because of the deadline. Because having a deadline means that I'm more likely to actually do it, rather than just kind of staring at the page hoping for the best and then thinking that everything I do is awful and not writing more than 650 words. And also it will be able to take my mind out of the one project, because I've had my mind in the one project for so long. I think I need to not think about that project for some time so that I can then more naturally be able to get back into that with kind of like a renewed sense of purpose for it. I've made massive progress in it, more progress than I've made for the last 10 years. I think I need to do something else for a little bit. Just a little bit. And who knows, maybe I'll win some. Probably won't. But also this week I said I was going to go out to Nero, which I did do one day. I think I've been twice this week. I probably have. I can't remember anything, but I do know that I definitely went to the charity shops because I have some books that I bought, and I'll show you them. I showed you little clips at the time, but I will talk about what they actually are. Let me get them. Right, so I can't remember what order I bought these in, so I'm just going to do it whichever one I pick up first. So whenever I go to this charity shop, right, it's like the ladies who sell them to me kind of, it feels like they judge me. Because last time I got something from this charity shop, the woman read the title. It was something along the lines of "What is your dog really thinking?" or something like that. And she just read it out loud and then laughed. And I was like, okay. And then the same thing happened with this one. It's just the 25 rules of grammar, because I think it would be quite good to have like a reference in case I ever need to know my grammar. And as a writer, I would probably need to refresh my grammar that I haven't done since I was in primary school. But yeah, she was like, 25 rules of grammar, and then laughed. Different woman, same shop, but that's what I got in that one. I think that was Bananas. Bananas? Bananas lady, if you're watching, I'm offended. This one is The Sea by Iris Murdoch. I got it because, as I said at the start, I did an arts degree, I did theatre, and this is about a guy who was in the theatre, it was a big deal, and then he retires. So the blurb says, the sea, turbulent and leaden, unknown, transparent and opaque, magician and mother. When Charles Araby, over 60, a demigod of the theatre, director, playwright, actor, retires from his glittering London world in order to abjure magic and become a hermit, it is to the sea that he turns. He hopes at least to escape from the woman, but unexpectedly meets one whom he loved long ago. His Buddhist cousin James also arrives. He is menaced by a monster from the deep. Charles finds his solitude peopled by the drama of his own fantasies and obsessions, which I think is quite interesting. And it won the Booker Prize, which is always a good sign. It's apparently a vintage classic. Oh no. The text is tiny. It's tiny font. Alright, we'll have to read that on days where my eyes are not tired. In the third charity shop, The Thousand Autumns of Jacob de... The font is so hard I actually can't... Jacob de Zoet? Jacob de... Oh, that was the very first page. Zoet. We got there. The Thousand Autumns of Jacob de Zoet. I bought it because it's by David Mitchell, and I do have a couple of his books now. I know that I watched Cloud Atlas, the movie, with my family. My dad and my granny. But at one point we paused it to make a cup of tea, and I can't remember which one of us said, but we all were glad that they said it. But one of us just said, I'm not gonna, I think it probably was me, I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea what's going on. And they were like, me neither. We continued to the end hoping that it might actually work itself out, but I think I want to read the book. I have a copy, but I've heard such good things about David Mitchell, and he's meant to be really, really good, and I'm hoping that maybe it makes a lot more sense if you actually read the book. And then I have another one that I got because it was by him, so I knew it would be good, and then also it was a really, really beautiful cover. I can't get it for you now because, as you've seen in my previous vlogs, my books are in piles. But yeah, then I thought, oh, why not get this one? Why not have 3 books by an author that I've never read from? And I also got this one. It's No Is Not Enough. And it's by Naomi Klein. Sorry. It's by Naomi Klein. It's like a study in politics, because it was written quite a few years ago now. Yeah, 2017. It says, The Guardian said that this new study in shock politics is a warning of the enormous toxic potential of the Trump presidency and a call to oppose it. Refusal needs to turn into resistance. And as much as I'm reading it quite late, ooh, someone's used their receipt from the Yorkshire Bank as their bookmark when they were reading this. They only got to page 89. Maybe I can win that battle and go further. They've taken out some cash in Thornaby. They've paid their council tax, been to Sainsbury's, and used a card. Spent quite a bit of money, but their balance looks pretty good. It's much better than mine. As you probably saw, Wilco has like a charity donations book table. I got this one. It's called Codex. It's by Lev Grossman. The blurb says, Edward Wozni, a hotshot young banker, is sent to help one of his firm's most important and mysterious clients. When asked to uncrate and organise a personal library of rare books, Edward's initial indignation turns to intrigue as he realises that among the volumes there may be hidden a unique medieval codex, a priceless bound manuscript that has been kept sealed away for many years and for many reasons. Edward's intrigue becomes an obsession that only deepens as friends draw him into a peculiar and addictive computer game, and mystifying parallels begin to emerge between the game's virtual reality and the legend of the Codex. That one combines 2 things that I love, books and video games. So that one sounds really good. Thanks, Wilco. And then, so this one is The Twyford Code. It's by Janice Hallett, and it's about solving a murder. It says, can you crack the code? I don't know whether it'll tell us the code, like tell us the solution, or whether we genuinely have to guess. Ooh, it has a key. Oh, cool. It's got a key in the front for interviews. So you can see that. So they must have had their interviews, well, not had, it's not real, but transcribed interviews. That's really helpful actually to look at this, because I'm writing something like that I need to submit for a competition that's kind of similar. So it'd be nice to actually flick through this evening to see what they do for their audio files, because I'm doing something like that. Oh, cool. Then when I went to Nero, I went to Oxfam, and I also got Proust Was a Neuroscientist. Let's do that. Yep. And that is by Jonah Lehrer. Sounds quite interesting actually. It says, is science the only path to knowledge? In this sparkling and provocative book, Jonah Lehrer, author of The Decisive Moment, explains that when it comes to understanding the brain, art got there first. I completely agree. I don't actually know how they're explaining that, but that as a statement sounds right to me. Because science, in a way, science came after art. Art is so innately human. Taking a group of celebrated writers, painters and composers, Lehrer shows us how artists have discovered truths about the human mind, real, tangible truths, that science is only now discovering. We learn, for example, how Proust first revealed the fallibility of memory, how George Eliot understood the brain's malleable nature, how the French chef Escoffier intuited umami, the fifth taste, how Cézanne worked out the subtleties of vision, and how Virginia Woolf pierced the mysteries of consciousness. It's a riveting tale of art trumping science again and again. I'm not against science, I'm a very science-based brain, but I am also very into art, and I don't think that one is better than the other, but they have very different approaches to things. I also found in Oxfam this really, really wonderful, really old edition of Master of Middle-earth, The Achievement of J.R.R. Tolkien by Paul Kocher? It's either Kocher or Kocher, I'm not really sure. But this looks like a really great read. I'll probably try and read it once I've finally finished The Lord of the Rings. It says, since the first volume appeared in 1954, Tolkien's trilogy, Lord of the Rings, has become one of the most widely loved works of literature ever published. In Masters of Middle-earth, Paul Kocher considers Tolkien's fiction as a whole, showing the relationship of the short prose and verse narratives to the major works, and traces his major themes and preoccupations in a way that will be extremely illuminating to those who are already familiar with this most fascinating of epics. So even the blurb is telling me that I have to have finished reading them. I have watched the movies enough times to have had them memorised, but there's a lot more in the books than there is in the films, which is just the nature of it. They had to cut a lot out to make it digestible. So that is what I got at the charity shops. When I was actually in Waterstones, when I was trying to... Waterstones? I did drop into Waterstones, but that's not what I meant. I didn't get anything there. I tend not to buy anything new. If I like something that I see in a bookshop, I'll usually see if I can buy it secondhand. Mainly because it's too expensive for my budget right now, and also they already exist and they'll just go landfill. So save the books from landfill. But yes, when I was in Nero, I did write a very little bit. But as I said in the clips on the little transcriptions, I had recently realised that I wanted to write because I'm considering it to be a duology, my story, subject to change, always subject to change, but right now is considered a duology. And I realised that what I'm considering the first book, I'm not ready to write it. I can't explain it in any other way, I'm not ready to write that, but I think I am ready to write what I'm considering the second book. So I started writing that, so that I got a little bit done, but not too much. I also had to leave about an hour after I got there because I had to feed someone's cat, so I didn't get there too long there, but I still got something done, so that is promising. As for reading updates, I actually have some for you. With the Travelling Cat Chronicles that me and my friend Chloe are currently buddy reading, we're basically keeping up with each other every 2 chapters. So now I have read up to the end of chapter 3 and I'm waiting for her to get to that same point. I had a theory between chapters 2, as in like from the start of chapter 2 to the end of chapter 3, that was in my mind pretty much confirmed by the end of chapter 3. And if you've read the book, you probably know what I think it is, and you'll know whether I got it right. But I think it was confirmed in one very quick sentence that was written in a way for it to be passing, which I think was quite clever. I liked it. But I'm shaking around. This is my bookmark I'm using for it. I love the Moomins. Next is chapter 3.5, which I think is quite an interesting choice, and I wonder if through reading it you can kind of gauge as to why that is. you probably will be able to. And with Stephen King's fairy tale, I'm actually not using a proper bookmark for this. For some reason, I'm using this Pokemon card. I can't tell you why. I think it was there when I needed it at the time and I couldn't find any of my bookmarks at the time. So that's what I'm using. However, I have found some more bookmarks since then. This one is to hand. This is just a nice one. I think I actually got it on eBay. I think. I've never been to this bookshop, but it's this one. But I just thought it was a really nice, really lovely bookmark. So the Alderberg bookshop in Suffolk. So that can now be used for this book. But anyway, about the book rather than the bookmark, I am almost at the halfway point. So just about there will be halfway. We're in the new world. It's all very exciting because obviously there was going to be one from the blurb. It's very interesting because he's definitely taking from fairy tales, obviously from the title, so that's not spoilers. But I am definitely intrigued by what's happening to the people there. It's a very specific and horrible thing they're experiencing. And it makes me think about what Brandon Sanderson says in his lectures, which I've not continued with for 2 weeks and I feel really bad about. It's because I wanted to do the exercise from the short story lecture and then got put off by it and then just haven't continued with the lectures because I was like, well, I have to do the exercise. I said I was going to do the exercise and I haven't done the exercise. It's writing one sentence, but I've got a block in my brain about it. Anyway, what he says in one of his lectures, which makes me think about what's happening in here, is that one of the ways that you can follow through on a promise in the way of expanding the plot and giving the reader more than they think that you've promised. They get more. They get what you promised, but they also get something extra they didn't realise that they wanted until they wanted it. But then you give it to them anyway and they're like, wow! He explained it like promising your kid a toy truck. I think it was a truck. So it's a toy truck and you promise them that they're going to get a toy truck, but then all the way through the year you talk about how great toy planes are, to the point where they're like, damn, I really want a toy plane. And then at Christmas they get a toy truck and they're like, yes, I knew I was getting a toy truck, that's so exciting. And then they open the next one and it's a toy plane and they're like, damn, oh my god, I got a toy plane as well, wow. So yeah, I got really into that. But what the idea of this book is one thing, but so King is basically saying he's gone to this world to do this thing, and you're like, man, I hope he gets that thing done because I love that dog. But then he's showing you all these people and how they're struggling, and Sanderson talks about how in one of his books, the heist story, where they're going to go do this heist and you're expecting, it was the promise that they will do a heist, they heist from the rich people. But whilst they're going on this journey, you see all these poor people, and the reader starts to think, damn, it's great that they're going to steal from this rich guy, but wouldn't it be great if they overthrew the empire and, you know, saved all these people? And then at the end you're like, damn, wow, they overthrew the empire. So it's like, I'm hoping that he then saves all the people as well as the dog. And now that I've got that in my mind, if it doesn't happen I'll be really sad, but I can't imagine that it won't, because there's been a lot of other subtle hints as well. So like Mr. Bowditch has said in the past, only cowards give gifts, and Charlie can see all the gifts that his name is Charlie, right? My god. Yeah, his name is Charlie, thank god. So Charlie's seeing all these things in this world that are reminiscent of when Mr. Bowditch was there, and the things that he left behind, the things he gave people. But Mr. Bowditch always had this thing in his heart of like, oh, only cowards give gifts, or heroes help, only cowards give gifts, something like that. And you can see all the gifts that Mr. Bowditch had given these people, which makes it feel like he was the coward and now maybe Charlie will be the hero. Rather than giving them gifts, he might save them all, maybe. And a lot of people have asked him to help. Well, one person's asked him to help, and one person called him a prince and then backed out of it when questioned about it and said, oh, it's just a traditional way of greeting, it's just politeness, but one day the prince will come, but maybe it's not you because you are so young. So maybe he is the prince here to save the whole world. Linking it all together. So those are my reading updates. haven't read anything else. That's not true. Not true. I can't remember whether I read this week or last week, but I have read the first 2 and a bit sections of The Hero with a Thousand Faces. There wasn't a lot that stood out to me in the second section, the tragedy and comedy section. It was just kind of, I read it through and I was like, cool. But I have written quite a lot of notes about the first section, which is the myth and dream section, and I've definitely started circling in the hero and the god section. There's quite a lot of other readings that sound really interesting. Plenty of them. I could talk about so much about it, but I will talk about all of that stuff in a more in-depth video about that project that I'm doing, the read a book, read a thing about the book, you know. I do actually need to read book 1, Homer's Odyssey, because I have got a reading buddy for it now, and I'm quite excited about that. I should probably try and read that this evening actually, because it's only a couple pages, and then I'll talk to my reading buddy about it. I am terrible for having many days disappear out of my brain and not realise that I've not done things. So hopefully he will be understanding, please. But yes, I will probably read the book of the Odyssey now before I get too tired. And then I'll send him a message and be like, dude, I did it. Yay. And hopefully I'll have stuff to say about it and sound really intelligent. That was everything I have to say for today. I'll finish editing the vlog tomorrow, upload it, and then it will be the start of a new week. But that will be the start of week 4, and we are on the vlog 3 of the 4 that I promised myself that I would check in on the 4th to make sure I did it, because 3 is usually my limit. So we're kind of at a limit point here, and if we surpass it, that'll be a big moment. It'll be a big moment for me. So if we get to next week's vlog, we can do the... If any of you watch Sarah LaBrat, when she gets to 10,000 words, she lets herself have a little moment where she celebrates in her apartment and she goes, ooh. It's adorable. But yeah, we can do a little happy dance if we get the 4th one uploaded, because that means that I will have started a habit rather than another failed attempt at something. So yeah, ciao.
Walking to the market, strolling hand in hand, exchanging letters when you're away. Don't need any effort when we are together. We always have fun throughout the day. I'll do anything to get your attention. When you say you love me, I seem to ascend to the heavens above, where we fall in love. I don't know what I would do without you, because
It is Sunday. It is the end of Sunday. I can't tell you exactly what time it is on Sunday. I've been at work today. I did get up earlier than normal and read some of my Stephen King book this morning, which was very nice to have done that. Can't say that will happen very often because I'm not usually an early riser. However, before I finish editing this vlog and upload it this evening, I wanted to talk about, because last night I had some footage of me actually reading the introduction to The Odyssey by Homer. It's an introduction by G.S. Kirk. There was a big section within it. Albert's scratching himself. But there is a section in the middle of it that he basically just kind of summarises the entire story. So I kind of like skipped a bit through that. But there was interesting things he wrote about the book itself, and it reminded me about how in the ancient Greek poems like this, the epic poems, they were actually, well, they weren't read to be read. They were read to be heard and seen. So I thought to myself, I was like, why don't I read it to myself out loud? So I might do, because it also might help me in my own mind kind of sort through the language, because it's the same with Shakespeare. Shakespeare's not meant to be read like as a book. It's meant to be seen on the stage, and it's meant to be heard and felt because it's of the rhythm and is a whole part of it. And I if that's probably the case with this one, because it is a big poem, I thought I might just try and read it out to myself, which is a big challenge because I'm dyslexic. But I don't have to get it right first time. So I'm going to read it out loud to myself, I think tomorrow, because I'm quite tired today. So I'll read book 1 tomorrow. But that's for a new vlog. And I just wanted to bob on, be like, hi, it's Sunday, nice to see you, thanks for coming along. And I'll see you tomorrow for a new weekly vlog. Ciao!